Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another Planetarium live stream. My name is Patrick Hess, your Planetarium specialist, and today we will be doing our Deep Dive Wednesday live stream. Today's topic will be about the Voyager Golden Record. This is based on popular demand. A few weeks ago, we talked about the Voyager space probe, and we touched a little bit on the Golden Record, and our audience wanted to learn more about it, so we're going to dive in deep today and talk all about our first message to the stars. To give you a little bit of information, if you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. We've been live streaming live at 6 p.m. on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and we are covering a number of topics throughout the week. Mondays, we are doing a What's Up live stream where I take you on a tour of the night sky and show you different stars and constellations you can see in this part of the world. Wednesdays are deep dive stream, so on days like today we dive in deep on a topic in astronomy. So far we've covered topics such as the solar system, given an overview of all the different bodies in our solar system. We've talked about stellar evolution, the lifespans of stars, how they're born and how they die. We've covered probes and rovers. That's when we talked about the Voyager space probes. And we've even done a live on-air setup of a telescope. And if you missed any of these streams, you can tune in or find the recordings of them on our Facebook pages, the Union Station Facebook page, as well as Science City and the Arvin Gottlieb Planetarium. If you haven't liked and subscribed to any of those pages, be sure to do that as well. Then on Friday, this Friday, we'll be doing Fan Friday, where we will be answering your questions live on the air. Now, this will be our last Fan Friday for the foreseeable future. We're going to be adjusting our schedule to reflect the changing weather. A lot of people are finding it a little bit more fun to hang out outside on Fridays, which is awesome. So we're going to be adjusting a little bit. We'll still be doing our Mondays and Wednesday live streams, but this will be our last Fan Friday this Friday. That being said, don't forget that throughout our streams you can comment and ask questions, and I'll be monitoring the comments every day on Mondays and Wednesdays, but Fridays will be the day, this Friday will be the day where we will specifically look at those questions in depth. But feel free to ask them today if you'd like. I just may not get to them because usually on Wednesdays we have a lot of information to cover. One last thing I wanted to shout out everybody who has supported Union Station and our programs during this period of closure. This support comes in many forms, whether you're a Union Station member who decided to renew your membership, whether you're somebody who just subscribes to our Facebook pages and tunes into these live streams. It's especially helpful to show your support in that way, and sharing these live streams as well, and spreading the word is a huge deal. And if you'd like to learn more about how else you can support Union Station, just go over to unionstation.org. And all that information is there. So let's jump back into our Golden Record discussion. Now we're going to start by going through a slight overview, review of the Voyager space probe program. This program consists of two space probes, the Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 probes, and they were both launched in 1977. So just a little over 40 years ago. And these probes covered a lot of ground. They visited mostly our outer solar system. They were the first probes to do that. And they were also the first man-made objects to actually leave our solar system entirely. And we still communicate with them today. And they continue to give us science. Now, I want to kind of show you the trajectories of the Voyager probes. So I'm going to get that ready for us here. Let's go ahead and switch different cameras. So this is a really great video that actually NASA shared just a few days ago, covering the trajectories of these space probes. So we can see the probes leaving Earth. This one's following Voyager 2 specifically, but you'll see Voyager 1 as well. The Voyager space probe's primary mission lasted quite a while, and it took these probes sometimes years to actually reach these solar system objects. And we can see that their trajectories started pretty close together, but they ended up going in pretty different paths. Yeah, and the Voyager 2 probe, the last sort of solar system encounter was in 1989 when it passed Neptune. So that's how long these programs lasted. That main mission lasted 12 years, as you can see. But yeah, we'll just watch these probes as they are exiting the solar system. Now many deep space probes, like the Voyager probes, use something called gravitational assists. Basically, they are aimed at certain planets, and as they pass these planets, as you can see what just happened there with Voyager 1, if they're aimed just right, the gravity of those planets will actually push them even further and kind of give them more momentum so they can travel farther out. So we can see Voyager 1, after it passed Saturn, it ended up moving upwards out of the plane of the solar system, but Voyager 2 continued along the plane of our solar system, and as you can see, it encountered both Uranus and Neptune. And then after it encountered Neptune, it's going to go at a different angle here. And so now we'll be able to see how far away these two probes have gotten. And again, we are still communicating with these probes to this day. This is kind of showing us where we consider the edge of our solar system to be. You can follow both Voyager space probes on Twitter. They both have active Twitter accounts where they often tweet their distances and locations as they travel out. So we can see here these bubbles represent different boundaries in our solar system, boundaries that astronomers consider to be sort of the edge of our solar system. Basically the furthest away that our sun influences the interstellar medium. So we can see the termination shock and heliopause, very fancily named regions of space, sort of the bubbles of interstellar medium that the sun is sort of pushing as it moves around inside of our galaxy. Let's head back over here. So let's talk a little bit about the golden records. So I introduced these a little bit before, but hang on. For those of you who missed our stream where we talked about the probes, then let's introduce these golden records. I'm just gonna set up, there we go. All right. Let's go back over here. I'm coordinating a lot more windows today than I'm normally used to, so pardon me as we're moving around like this. All right, so yeah, so here is the golden records themselves. The golden record, this idea was proposed by Carl Sagan, who is a very famous science communicator and astrophysicist, who many of you may be familiar with. He also narrated the original wow, I'm totally blanking on the the television series. Carl Sagan, I believe it's, what is it called? Cosmos, right. Cosmos, A Personal Voyage. Wow, sorry. This has been a long quarantine, folks, and it's already been a long week for me. So anyway, the Cosmos television series was a series that Carl Sagan narrated that introduced a lot of astronomy topics to an entire generation. And it was his idea to create this project. So basically, knowing that both the Voyager space probes were going to be flying out into deep space, Carl wanted to include a message on these probes so that, you know, someday if these probes were ever found by alien species, they could look at this message and maybe learn a little bit about the people or the species that sent this message. Now, it could be tens of thousands of years before these probes reach anywhere close to a star system that could inhabit life, but so by then maybe humans won't be around, or maybe they'll have changed, but these are still messages that are portraying how humans are, or at least were, near the end of the last decade. So these are the golden records themselves. As you can see, they are similar to final records. You can see the grooves on one side here, and then the other side is printed with a couple images, which I will talk about in a second. As you can see, this side says the sounds of Earth. And the other side has a lot of different symbols on it, and all these symbols are representing a different thing. So what we have right here is basically a picture of a record player. They included a record player on the probes as well, so alien species would be able to, actually play this record. So this shows the orientation of how the record works using the needle of the record player, and then these dots and dashes are binary, which basically are indicating the speed at which to play the record. And then over here we have a diagram that shows the waveform of sound that you would experience by playing this record, and then how to interpret binary signals from this waveform. So basically, encoded on this record are a lot of things, not only sounds, but images. And those images were converted into binary signals and etched onto this record as well. So these are basically just instructions on how to convert the binary images the binary signals to pictures. And this right here is the first photograph on the album to kind of calibrate and make sure that they're doing it right, so to speak. And then this is kind of cool. This is a diagram showing the location of our star, the sun, in relation to known pulsars. And basically, again, it's kind of hard to see in this image, but these tiny little notches are more binary code signifying distances. And this is sort of triangulating our location based on known pulsars. And then this right here is a diagram showing states of hydrogen atoms to provide a frame of reference, frame of time reference, basically, for that whole thing. So that's what's printed on one side, and then of course on the other side we have the actual record itself and the sounds encoded on it. And again, not just sounds, but a lot of other things. So there's 90 minutes of music, and we'll talk a little bit about the different music tracks on the Golden Record. There are greetings in 55 different languages. There are a bunch of different sounds from planet Earth. We'll listen to some of those, and a lot of pictures as well. And all these things you can find for yourself online. NASA has shared just about all the contents of the Golden Record, the images, music, sounds, greetings. And after this stream, we can post a link to that so you can learn more about it yourself. But I wanted to start with the greetings, and specifically the first sort of sound bite on this is actually an introduction by let's see, make sure I get their name correct. All right, so so the first sound you'll hear on the Golden Record is a greeting and basically an explanation of the contents of the Golden Record by Kurt Waldheim, who was at that time the Secretary General of the United Nations. So they wanted to start with a greeting from somebody who, in the best way we possibly could, basically represented humans at that current time. So I'm just gonna make sure that our audio is working because I've not tried this specifically. So let me get my audio set up here just so I can make sure I hear this too. So let's go ahead and listen to this greeting, and hopefully this will work out. Maybe I can confirm that this is on the stream. So we're gonna listen to the greeting right now.
As the Secretary General of the United Nations, an organization of 147 member states who represent almost all of the human inhabitants of the planet Earth, I send greetings on behalf of the people of our planet. We step out of our solar system into the universe seeking only peace and friendship, to teach if we are called upon, to be taught if we are fortunate. We know full well that our planet and all its inhabitants are but a small part of this immense universe that surrounds us, and it is with humility and hope that we take this step.
All right. So that was the message. Hang on, there we go. So like I said, that was the message from Kurt Waldheim the Secretary General of the United Nations, just introducing the Golden Record. And again, so Carl Sagan led the group to decide on what to put on the Golden Record, but this group involved delegates from a lot of different cultures. So, you know, the idea was that we would take a picture of humanity at the time as widely as we could, and hopefully show distant civilizations what we are like, and not in a biased fashion. So there are a lot of greetings. There are 55 different greetings, so we won't listen to all of them, but we can listen to just a few of those greetings.
Adanish Lushulmu.
太空朋友，您好，您食饱未？有闲就来阮遮坐哦。
تحياتنا للأصدقاء في النجوم يا ليت يجمعنا الزمان.
Shalom.
Բոլոր անոնց, որ գտնվին եզերքի միքամազություններեն անտին, ողջույններ։
Namaskar. Bishe Shanti Hok.
So yeah, a lot of different greetings, and these greetings ranged, or they were saying a lot of different things. Some said, "May all be very well." Some said, "Friends of space, how are you all? Have you eaten yet? Come visit us if you have time." I like that one a lot. This one, the Arabic greeting said, "Greetings to our friends in the stars. We wish that we will meet you someday." There was Aramaic saying, "Peace." "Dear friends, we wish you the best," in Czech. Cantonese, "Hi, how are you? Wish you peace, health, and happiness." And then the English greeting I like a lot was simply, "Hello from the children of planet Earth." And I believe that was Carl Sagan's child who said that and was recorded on there. So a lot of different greetings. It's pretty cool to listen to all those 55 different languages from around the world. So there, Carl and other people in the program have written about the process to pick all of the content of the Golden Record, and here's some excerpts that just kind of explain, you know, what they were picking and their thought process behind it. Let's see. So this excerpt is actually from Linda Sagan. And she said in her book, during the entire Voyager project, all decisions were based on the assumption that there were two audiences for whom the message was being prepared. Those of us who inhabited Earth and those who exist on the planets of distant stars. So she goes on to say that they were principally concerned with the needs of people on Earth. Let's see. So they recorded messages from populations all over the globe, each representative speaking in the language of his or her people, instead of sending greetings to one in one or two languages accompanied by keys for their decipherment. So they were aware that by sending just one or two greetings with help deciphering those languages, they might have had extraterrestrials might have had a better chance of understanding those words, but it would have been very political picking which one or two languages to send. And again, because this was half for extraterrestrials and half for the people of Earth, they decided that they wanted to represent the Earth as a collection of many different communities. So that's why they chose all those different languages. So let's take a look at some of the photos that were included. Let me get this set up here. All right, that will work. So this is a site that you can find on NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory website. Again, we can post links to this on the Planetarium Facebook page afterwards. But here is the order of images. Like I said, this first one was that calibration circle to kind of test out whether or not they got things right, and that's what was printed on the front of the Golden Record. And then this is our location again. You can see a little bit more detail showing our sun's location in relation to pulsars that we know. And then this picture was included to kind of help out help any potential aliens kind of figure that out. So this picture is just showing simple math, and again, just sort of starting to help translate the binary code that's encoded on the record with some other concepts. And math is, many scientists agree, is really the most universal language of the universe. No matter where we are, no matter what civilization is far out in the reaches of space, their understanding of math must be at least similar to ours, if not more advanced. And we can see a lot more information. So these are just some constant definitions in physics. And then this is parameters of our solar system. So this is showing very roughly relative sizes of the bodies in our solar system, as well as information about them. You can see the Earth colored in there. And then these are the outer planets with more information about them. And then we did encode color images on this. So this is a spectrum, again, to help calibrate. So as they're decoding these images, they would be able to check to see if the colors matched here, or they could see a spectrum. And then some images from our solar system. So that's an image of Mercury. We've got an image of Mars, Jupiter, and of course Earth. So this is just a closer image of Earth showing the Nile River in Egypt. And then we get into some more scientific imagery. Now, this is interesting and somewhat controversial. An earlier mission called the Pioneer mission, they were spacecraft sent out into our solar system as well, had full images, or sort of a full cartoon drawing of a man and a woman, but they were fully depicted in the nude. And there was some controversy at the time in the late 70s for including that imagery on a spacecraft. And so they actually, Carl Sagan was forced to switch to a silhouette instead of depicting the full anatomy of the man and woman. But just kind of funny, the controversies and social politics even make its way into exploring space. Although there is an image of a woman breastfeeding. Images of people at different ages showing sort of a standard family. And, there was still some biases that ended up falling into the choosing of these pictures. This is a typical nuclear family, but of course families are different in different places in the world. So this is interesting. This is showing estimations of what the Earth could have looked like in the past, and the present, and then perhaps in the distant future. And this is just sort of planning ahead that an alien species who could find these messages, may not find them until very far into the distant future. And so by including these images, that would sort of hopefully help them to confirm that what they're looking at is actually planet Earth. And the continents may have shifted by the time they receive that message. And those messages, by the way, should last quite a while. The golden records were made of a material that should last. They aren't just vinyl, of course. So I'm not sure. Okay, so here's some information about the manufacturing. So they are constructed with gold-plated copper. They're 12 inches in diameter, and they're covered in aluminum and electroplated with uranium-238. That specifically was included to help alien species perhaps detect the exact age of the record by including that radioactive isotope. Again, hopefully this will help the golden record last quite a while. I don't know exactly how long they plan on it lasting, but quite a while if they are including these images of continental drift. This is showing the structure of the Earth, the internal structure of the Earth. And then we have some simple evolution images, basically. Vertebrate evolution, going between fish in the ocean to land walkers, and some more outlines of people. And then we get to color photographs. So this is an island off the coast of Australia, it looks like. We've got images of sprinters in the Olympics. Got a photo of a man from Guatemala, a schoolroom. And again, as you can see, they chose these images to depict a wide range of cultures and peoples. Here is just a photo of somebody in a supermarket. So we have construction of a house in Africa, another house in Africa, fishing boats, some pretty interesting pictures, demonstrations of eating and drinking. You can just imagine the situations that led to these candid photographs. You know, posing for a picture that will last, you know, perhaps until the end of time, and you are the famous person for eating a sandwich in a very weird way, taking a bite on one end and then on the other side. I hope that person knows that they're famous. So we can see a doctor looking at X-ray images. This is the UN building. Got a scientist. Got a page of a book. This is Newton's book, Systems of the World. Got a photograph of an astronaut in space. This is a radio telescope. And a rocket launch. And then finally, violin with music. So an interesting variety of photographs. Not many photographs, but this is what they managed to fit. Again, these are translated from binary data that is basically encoded on the record. So it's pretty amazing how much they managed to fit, including about 90 minutes of music as well. So in addition to music, there are a bunch of different sounds that they included. And let me tune up here. So this first sound is kind of funny. This is I try to find more information about this because the only thing that NASA lists about it are they call it life signs and pulsar. So I can imagine that what we're about to listen to is encoded data from a pulsar that they basically converted to sound waves. So here we go. Let me turn up a tiny bit. So kind of weird sounds. But you know, perhaps a sufficiently advanced alien culture could decode that, or they would recognize the sound waves from those. Hard to tell. Pretty interesting. So here is the sound of a mother and child and a kiss.
Oh, come on now. Be good boy. Oh, good boy.
I just think it's fascinating that that is a sound that an alien civilization could hear in 1,000,000 years or 1,000,000,000 years. And that just the sounds that we chose to send out there, I don't know, it just kind of gives me goosebumps thinking about. Here is an airplane flyby and Saturn V liftoff. There's a tractor, bus, train, horse and cart. Let's listen to the horse and cart. Another thing to remember is that as soon as humans started to use radio to send sound, we started sending messages out into space because radio waves emanate out into space. They're a form of electromagnetic radiation. So these sounds may not be the first that an alien species hears, because if they can detect radio waves that were sent before 1977, I guess I need updates. Sorry about that sound. But if they could detect those radio waves, they might hear signals from us from earlier in time. And by the way, I'm just let me just briefly go over and check comments. We did get a couple questions and comments. Eric is asking if the Voyager probes are on a trajectory that is targeting something that might have life. So the Voyager probes, let's see, Voyager 1 is going to pass about 1 light year away from a star that's in the constellation of the Giraffe in about 40,000 years. As far as if that star has planets around it, I'm not sure. I don't think we've discovered any planets around that star. The thing is, in the late 70s, we did not have the capability of finding exoplanets. We couldn't confirm if other stars had planets around them. So NASA just really had to take their best guess. And also, these trajectories were not specifically aimed. It took a lot to just get NASA to accept from Carl Sagan that we wanted to send these messages, but it would have been too complicated to direct their trajectories in a very specific way. So this is just kind of where they've ended up pointing. But who knows? Sufficiently advanced civilizations could be able to travel through interstellar space. They could detect those probes in other ways. Martha's saying, I hope aliens know that now is not a good time to visit planet Earth. I hope they do too. If they tried to visit us, then I hope they're going to come back sometime when we're a little more able to go outside and say hi to them. And Eric also asked if we do similar things on the other probes we send out. Like I said, the Pioneer spacecraft had a plaque that had some images on it that was sent out. And there are many other messages that humans have sent out on other probes. And that's something that I would have to do a little bit more research to find out more information. But I do know that, for example, on the Juno spacecraft that is orbiting Jupiter right now, there is a Lego figurine on it. I think there are maybe a couple Lego figurines on it. There are. Let's see. There is a Lego figurine. Here, I can show you all it. So these are the Lego figurines on the Juno spacecraft. So there is the god Jupiter on the right, his wife Juno in the middle, and then Galileo Galilei on the left. Yeah, we send some interesting things out into space, and not just messages. So let's continue listening to some different sounds. So there is the sound of a wild dog and a tame dog. And again, just interesting thinking through the thought processes of them choosing these sounds of, depicting, in this case, humans taming wild animals. It's kind of a weird sound. Doesn't sound like a wild dog. Oh, there we go. It's howling, I guess. Very interesting. Okay, here's the tame dog. Let's listen to it. All right, here you go. There's a chimpanzee. There is volcanoes, earthquakes, and thunder. Not the highest quality audio, but, it was the 70s. What can they do? Here's some footsteps, heartbeat, and laughter. Oop! I just realized I had it muted. Okay, let's listen. So this is footsteps. What was this? Footsteps, heartbeat, and laughter. Sorry, I'll replay some of the ones I just showed. You can hear it now. start of a Pink Floyd album. All right, so so here's the Wild Dog that I played earlier. It's some howling at the end here. And here was the Tame Dog. What else did I play? I think that was mainly it. There's the volcano earthquake and So, I talked a little bit about the making of the Golden Record, and here are some photos of them producing it. And then here is the them affixing it to the Voyager spacecraft. There in greater detail. So they're attached to the outside there. All right. So now the last thing that is on the Golden Record are a collection of different music tracks. And I thought about playing them on the stream here, but some of them may be copyrighted, so they might kick us off the air if I do that. But I'll just go through and list some of these, and you can find these. There are some playlists on like Spotify and YouTube that you can listen to these. But they include a wide variety of musical tracks. Again, there's about 90 minutes all the way from Bach, Brandenburg Concerto No. 2 in F. There is percussion from Senegal. There is a girls' initiation song from Zaire. There are Aboriginal songs from Australia. There is El Cascabel from Mexico. Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry. Let's see. There's some Bach, some Mozart. There's Azerbaijani flute music and bagpipes. Stravinsky's Rite of Spring is there on the Golden Record. Got Bach's The Well-Tempered Clavier. Beethoven's Fifth. We've got a Night Chant from Navajo Indians, panpipes from the Solomon Islands, a wedding song from Peru, some music from China, Japan, India. There is let's see, yeah. And then Beethoven, his String Quartet No. 13. So 90 minutes of music. And I think I actually read that they started printing this in vinyl, so you can actually buy the Golden Record for an actual record player here if you'd like a replica of it, of course. So you can listen to all of that. So those are what's on the Golden Record. You know, this is it's just cool thinking that, you know, these are the first messages that, you know, distant civilizations may encounter. You can learn more about the Golden Record and how it's created. There is a book called Murmurs of Earth that it's written by Carl Sagan, and a bunch of other people collaborated with that as well. And the book's unfortunately out of print, but I'm sure you can find it, excerpts of it online or in ebook format, I suppose. Yeah, and then the last thing I just wanted to mention about the Golden Record is something kind of fun that not a lot of people know. In July of 2015, during the Kansas City Fringe Festival, some playwrights named Brian and Tara actually wrote a play called Voyage to Voyager that was all about the production of the Golden Record. And if you want to watch that play, there is actually a recording of it on the Planetarium's YouTube page, which we can post a link to that. But here, I can just pop this out for us so you can see a little bit of it. I'll turn the sound off here, but we actually have recorded, I recorded and edited this play, and you can watch it for yourself if you'd like. It is just about a little over an hour long, and it was pretty cool. It took place in the planetarium, but it also used images on the dome, and I've edited those together so you can see that the whole play in its entirety. But this will actually give you a really interesting picture into the thought process behind the production of the Golden Record, and it's a little shout out to a cool project that happened in the planetarium 5 years ago. If you want to check that out, again, we can post a link to that in the description of these videos, or I guess in the comment section, or you can post to the Planetarium Facebook page. And again, links to how you can learn more about the Golden Record and see and listen to more of it yourself, we will share as well. But that about brings us to the end of our time segment today. So hope you guys enjoyed kind of going through the Golden Record and learn a little bit more about it. And just this one was more of just kind of a watch along and listen along, where we just kind of experience parts of the Golden Record together. So thanks for joining me on that. A little bit change of pace this time. But next time we'll dive in depth into another topic, which we have not yet decided or announced, so stay tuned for the topic for next week. Again, remember, this Friday will be our final Fan Friday live stream, so if you have any questions, please leave those in the comments here, or have them ready for Friday. You can ask them live, and we'll talk about them live. Any questions that we missed today, we'll write those down and bring them up on Friday as well. So if you ask a question, I'm sorry we didn't have time to answer it, but we will answer it on Friday. So be sure to tune in Friday at 6 p.m. for that live stream. But to everyone who tuned in today, thank you again for joining us for another Planetarium live stream. Don't forget to keep these programs and experiences going. All the support you can give is appreciated, whether it's just sharing this, links to these streams, rewatching any of our old recordings, or sharing them with your friends. And again, if you'd like to support Union Station in other ways, just go to unionstation.org to learn more about how you can support us. For now, though, I've been Patrick Hess, your Planetarium Specialist, signing off on another Deep Dive live stream. Thank you all for joining me today. Hope you have a wonderful Wednesday evening, and I'll see you same place, same time on Friday. Bye, everybody.